Kristen Oakes-White.
And I'm Carl Wiggers. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week. Well, more than 30 Louisiana ranchers are touring South Central Florida for the 2020 Louisiana Farm Bureau Livestock Advisory Committee Beef Tour.
This is the first time the group is traveling to the Sunshine State. Twila's Avery Davidson is with them. And Avery, I can see the monitor and that place looks pretty familiar.
Yeah, Kristen, I'm sure you recognize where I am. I am at Dakin Dairy in South Central Florida, just outside of Sarasota. And it's also the place where you did your first ever story for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture. Now, Dakin Dairy is one of those really neat stops for the 2020 Beef Tour. This is where they have everything from about 5,000 head of cattle to a milk processing plant. This place is not only vertically integrated, but horizontally integrated with a dirt pit, which gives them a little bit of diversity to help out when economic times can be lean. Now, the beef tour this year is going all around Florida. They're going to be going to Adams Ranch. This was literally the first stop. So we're going to have a whole lot more to see, and we're going to hear from some of these ranchers who are on the trip. I've already spoken with Joy Womack. She and her husband Victor operated the last dairy in East Baton Rouge Parish. Last year, they decided to get out of the dairy business and move just into beef cattle. So this was kind of an emotional stop for her. We're going to share a lot more of that from this trip next week. In South Central Florida, I'm Avery Davidson for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Thanks, Avery, and we look forward to those reports. You can also see pictures from the tour on the Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation's Facebook and Instagram accounts. We'll put links to those on our website at twilatv.org. Well, recently the financial markets melted down over fears of the COVID-19, otherwise known as the coronavirus. The lower prices hit farm commodities as well.
As Twila's Neil Melanson tells us this week, there's more to the story than just one virus, and it's got some folks already rethinking their strategies for the coming crop year.
A lot of folks have been washing their hands a lot lately due to the coronavirus. If only the markets could wash their hands of it as well. While financial and agriculture markets have come up a bit since record drops the last week of February, the impact is staying with us, according to LSU Ag Center economist Michael Delaberto.
Corn futures fell, oil price dropped, and as oil prices fell, that brought ethanol prices down with it. And exports were a part of the corn balance sheet that we really needed to see an export increase in to really halt that price decline.
Despite recent agreements between the U.S. and China, Chinese buying has been limited at best as a direct result of the virus.
And with the coronavirus hitting them and the Chinese people finally getting out of their houses and going back to work, those ports are backlogged. There's a big plug right now. So they got a lot of stuff to unload, and then maybe we'll get an idea of what their needs are. But yeah, they're not buying from anybody, and the outlook of purchases could be pretty slim right now.
Greg Fox is talking with Richard Fontenot about his farming operation. Fontenot says that while the MFP payments help through the tariff disruptions, these recent disruptions are interrupting farmers as well.
With some of the virus issues going on in there, to how to figure out this phase one and the accountability of it, it's going to really dictate whether or not we actually go in. In other words, the progress of the trade deal and the implementation of it is going to dictate if we can do any MFPs in the future.
Many analysts are saying we might not see China re-enter the market until late this summer. Hopefully our farmers can last until then. For This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Neil Melanson.
A roundtable discussion with the USDA about what could be done to help farmers took place in New Orleans this week. We'll bring you more from that story on next week's show.
Well, Carl, before Christmas, you had a little DIY story from your own backyard that was about the latest hydroponic project, so give us an update.
Okay, an update is it has produced lettuce, and no, I didn't bring you any, so don't even get going there. It's not ready yet.
Don't worry, I'll buy my own lettuce.
I'll bring you some soon. I've also got to be really honest, I haven't touched it really in about 6 weeks, so it's kind of a struggle. And a couple of those weeks I was out of town for the international trip, so there's that. That changed this weekend though, partly because the weather is getting nicer and I wanted to be outside, and partly because I had some helping hands. Big shout out to my nephews Jason, Jameson, and Jackson for helping me clean out the pipes and empty some of the water from my system. In an ideal scenario, I should do this every couple of weeks. Just like you'd need to weed the gardens or flower beds, this hydroponic takes time of maintenance as well. So here you see us cleaning it out, but we also have to add nutrients or fertilizer into the water to feed these lettuce plants. Quick heads up, If any of this sounds crazy, fear not, it's all online in a blog post that I'll link you to. The fertilizer I'm using is 1 part Master Blend 4-18-38 fertilizer, 1 part calcium nitrate 15.500, and 1/2 part magnesium sulfate, which is just a fancy way to say Epsom salt. Also, you want to check the pH of your water and make sure it's around 6 or 7. I use a basic swimming pool testing kit to keep an eye on this. Mr. Rory Gresham fixed me up with a few bags like this of fertilizer. He's been a huge help along the way, from giving me some seeds, some supplies like these net cups, and of course the hands-on tutorial as I was building my system in the fall. So I've got to keep the system clean, I've got to add nutrients every couple of weeks, but I can't grow anything without planting seeds. I'm planting green butterhead, red butterhead, and romaine lettuce right now. To plant these, I fill up my net cup and pack the bottom half pretty good so that it doesn't wash out when I drop this in the water in a week or two. The top half is a little looser to give the seed a home to start in. I put 1 seed in the middle of the cup and bury it just a little bit below the surface. Then I place them in a tray, add some water, and move them into a windowsill in my laundry room. After watering for a couple of weeks in here, there should be a few leaves on the seedling. That's when I'll move them into the system to be watered regularly. Now, if you want to learn more about this system or see how I built it, I've got tons of resources online. I made a really way too in-depth probably blog post. You'll find that on our website at twilatv.org. And Kristen, when we talked about this the other day, you're the one that sent me the email saying it's time for an update.
I was going to say, well, you made an intensive blog post and people must be following because we got an email wanting an update on your hydroponic system.
Here's the update, but whenever I gave you guys the update, y'all weren't really very nice about it. You know, said I would be a terrible farmer. What's up with that?
Did say you'd be a terrible farmer. It was just a joke that the update is they're not there anymore because you hadn't heard anything about it.
I know, I hadn't been talking much about it, but we've been busy, so I'm hoping that in the next few weeks I'll have a little more conversation about it because I'm excited about it again. And
I know how it goes. When you plant something like a garden, you get really into it for a few weeks and then you just kind of...
It trails off a little bit, but you know, I'm fixing to start harvesting some lettuce out of there, and they'll be...
But you're right, the weather's nice, and so
it's nice to be out there with it. Pine trees are an important natural resource in Louisiana. They fuel the state's multi-billion-dollar timber industry, they provide habitat for wildlife, and they're a defining element of Louisiana's landscape.
And believe it or not, drought is becoming a more common occurrence in Louisiana and throughout the southeastern United States, threatening those pine forests. This week we introduce you to a man at the LSU Ag Center who is working to keep Louisiana forest thriving.
Forestry and wildlife has a tremendous impact on the economy of Louisiana. About $10 billion of economic contribution from the forest industry, and then maybe another $2 billion from the wildlife industry. Making sure we have healthy forests to support that industry and the wildlife that are dependent on them is an essential part of our land grant mission. I'm Michael Blazier. I'm a professor and forestry research project leader, also a forestry statewide extension specialist for the LSU Ag Center based at the Hill Farm Research Station. Forests provide a lot of great services for us. We are able to partially harvest the trees when they're halfway mature, and a lot of our boxes we get when we order online, that's developed from pulp generated from trees at that part of their development. And then as they get older and mature, we can harvest some of those, and those will be used for our homes and lots of other different products. All along the way, we're supporting a lot of different wildlife. We've got a lot of grasses and forbs that are out there with the trees, and that's providing a wide range of habitat. And then as they mature, we're getting more vertical structure in the forest there that can be supportive of birds and a lot of other different wildlife. I was first developed an interest in forestry as a Boy Scout. Our scout camp had a harvest on some of their forests there, and they relied on some of the scouts to replant that area. It really resonated with me that they stressed that it's a renewable resource, and we can profit from the trees we grow, but then replant and have more for tomorrow. Certainly do my fair share of at the computer analyzing and writing stuff, but it's always a real thrill to be out in the field here. Just being out here right now, hearing the wind rustling through the treetops it just sort of restores me a bit.
The LSU Ag Center is doing research like this all across the state, helping farmers, ranchers, and landowners grow better crops year after year. To learn more about Michael Blazer and research he's working on, head over to our website at twilatv.org. Well, coming up, we take a look at an FFA chapter that is making a huge difference in the lives of hundreds of students and their community.
But first, we head out to the crawfish field and gather for a feast. It's time for a brand new field to feast when we come back. Stay with us.
I now hope they're fighting today.
I hope they are. Put a Dorito right here.
I got a fish! I got a fish!
Find your place in the country and the lender who can get you there. Find Louisiana Land Bank. Financing for country homes, recreational property, farms and ranches, and agribusiness.
It's a well-known fact that here in Louisiana, sugarcane is more than just a crop. It's a way of life. It creates more than 16,000 jobs across the state and an additional $3 billion boost to our state's economy. And Louisiana's cane families always give back to the communities where we live, work, and play. Louisiana sugarcane, making life sweeter, naturally.
Sugarcane, sweet sugarcane.
I'm a farmer.
I am a farm wife.
I am a cowboy.
I am a grass farmer.
I'm a businesswoman.
I'm a conservationist.
I am an advocate.
I am a voice for Louisiana farmers.
I'm always learning.
I'm a husband.
I'm a mom.
I am a dad.
I'm a granddad.
I am a consumer.
I grow the food that feeds your family, and I'm proud of it. I am Farm Bureau.
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 We are Farm Bureau.
Crawfish season has finally arrived and the mud bugs are big and plentiful this year. The good news is Four Oaks Farms in Point Capee Parish is expecting the crawfish to stay that way well past Mother's Day this year.
That's where we find Twila's Jennifer Finley and Executive Chef of Commander's Palace, Tori McPhail, this week. They're out on the farm, running the crawfish traps and cooking up a crawfish stew with southern fried chicken dumplings you're sure to enjoy.
Field to Feast with Jennifer Finley is brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef, it's what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, think rice.
Welcome to Field to Feast, where we profile Louisiana and its local ingredients. Today, we're in Point Capee Parish with my bestest bud, Tori McPhail, Executive Chef of Commander's Palace.
Well, today we're at the Four Oaks Farm, and we're going to teach you all how to crawfish and what goes down right here in South Louisiana.
I'm so excited.
Well, let's get after it, shall we?
Let's do it.
What is he doing right now?
He's turning me around because we are in a mud pit. I ain't scared. Crawfish is just a huge commodity here. Can you talk to me about being a crawfish farmer?
The first thing I tell everybody, there's nothing easy in that. It's a physical thing, you know. There's no way of getting that crawfish to the public without picking a sack up, running the boats, picking the traps, fighting the weather, the rain, the cold, everything that
Hard
you could
work.
imagine. Yes, it's a physical, demanding thing.
Matt, tell me about this season. What is the season? How long can we expect for them to be around?
There's been crawfish caught since January, and I look to have these things all the way till the 4th of July. It's going to be a good year.
In our restaurant, we probably go through as many as a couple thousand pounds a week, right? A lot of ours are peeled already, but we go through sacks and sacks and sacks because when people think about Louisiana food, when people think about New Orleans food, crawfish is at the top of that list. You got to check that box when you go off. So when y'all are in season, I'll tell you what, we got happy smiles on our face.
You're right, yes.
Tori and I are kind of jealous. If we could do it all over again, we would probably farm for a living too.
Yeah.
I grew up on family farms, so for me to go to the big city of New Orleans and do what I do, every time I get to come back out here, get my feet dirty, get my hands wet, I'm in my happy place.
Oh,
that's for sure.
special. Yeah. And
it's nice to see it full loop,
Yeah, and there is a lot of people that really and truly enjoy coming out and seeing and really being, it's real.
I'm at the top of that list.
Are you ready to go to your happy place?
Let's go have
Let's
some fun.
roll.
Let's go have some fun.
Let's do it.
Thank you for having us. I ain't scared. I am ready to go crawfishing.
I know, I almost fell in.
What do you do?
Let me see. That looks good. Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at that guy,
Oh,
y'all.
yeah,
Oh, my
baby.
Lord. Look at him.
Jackpot. Hey, this is like the, what's it? That's like, what's that? When they catching them king crabs or whatever?
Look how big he is. Oh, my word. Y'all, look. It's a blue crawfish. That is so cool. Why is it blue?
You might catch maybe 10. What you think a year? 10?
Maybe 10 a year?
Maybe. That ain't always.
Woo! That was awesome.
Now, you know the difference between a male and a female, huh?
What's the difference?
I'm gonna give you an anatomy class. This is a male, and look at the difference. See how much longer?
Yeah.
Look his.
And bumpier texture too.
Yeah, just a bigger. If they're in the water, they go like this, and they'll turn over. If that male's right here, they'll turn over like that, and that male will come in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Work, their little butt on.
Switcheroo.
All right, girl.
Tag, you're it.
So, young, freshly molted, soft.
So, Tori.
When they have the dimples on them, like this, that's just perfect. You can't. But they'll kill a soft one. See, he got that little feel like.
Yeah. In the sack or like in here?
The sack.
In the sack.
Yeah. And
it's
that's
like squashing her down.
And that's why I don't run. That's why I'm just starting, because that's what
Y'all
happens.
turn around and one. Smile. Okay. Put the crawfish in there. Right. Yeah. And.
First.
Now that was a good time.
That was a blast. Come on.
We got a ton of crawfish. Let's go whip up some lunch.
That sounds good. Let's go.
Landowners are minding the Louisiana forest for our grandchildren. A place for wildlife, recreation, lumber for homes. It's the right thing to do. Forestry, covering half our state, all of our hearts.
I don't think you can separate my mom, the farmer, from just my mom, Judia. She is really the farm. She does most of the work.
She's half of me. Tractor would get stuck, she'd get in the mud and help me get it out.
Yeah, this is Donnie. See, he was a little old bitty fella.
Calf needed pulling, she'd help me pull the calf.
Katie takes care of the paperwork. Our main focus is the H-2A compliance.
My sister handles the marketing and the distribution. If tomorrow Deborah just disappeared, that would be kind of like cutting off one of my hands.
Yeah, I could have never done it without her. Both of us are one, and both of this is our thing together.
We just fed him out of a red wagon. That's what we had to feed him.
She's my best friend in the world, and that's just the way it is.
Louisiana oysters, salty, sweet, and delicious. But have you ever thought about what happens to all those oyster shells? Most of them end up in trash cans and landfills. The Coalition to Restore Coastal Louisiana is changing this with its oyster shell recycling program, and you can help by visiting these participating restaurants. It's a simple and delicious way to restore our coast. The shells will then be used to sustain and rebuild oyster reefs. Remember, once you shuck them, don't just chuck them.
So we're at Four Oaks Crawfish Farm in Point Capee Parish, and we just got back from crawfishing, gathered all these ingredients, and Tori's gonna make us some lunch.
That's
so
right.
what do we have going on?
So it's gonna be a little riff on chicken and dumplings. And that's always a classic American dish, a lot of really good comfort food. But the fact that we're here in South Louisiana, we want to do a little bit of a spin on that. And I'll tell you what, I've had one of the most classic, amazing days catching all this crawfish. We wanted to honor that amazing ingredient, but still have that Americana kind of comfort food all crashing together. So we get started?
We shall.
Beautiful. So I've got a handy dandy pot here and a little bit of a butane burner. The first thing we want to do is just add a little bit of butter to the pan. Our butter today, it's going to do double duty. We're going to start by adding a little bit of garlic. You want to add that in?
I do.
Okay.
Oh, my favorite smells.
That's it. So a little bit of brown butter.
All of it?
Yeah, go for it. Garlic and a little bit of fresh shallots here. Okay, you add salt and add your pepper now. Okay, we're going to layer those flavors as we go. All of our butter is losing all the water. It's shooting the temperature up, and all that garlic is starting to caramelize on all that beautiful brown butter. The shallots are starting to get nice and sweet and delicious as well.
All right, what's this?
All right, Jen, so we're gonna add in some fresh onions. We're gonna start to add in some fresh celery.
Are we doing the Trinity?
This is a French Trinity. There's so much French heritage here in Louisiana.
Which is the onion, celery, and carrots?
That's right.
Okay.
And here in South Louisiana, it would be like green bell pepper. So at this point, we're gonna add in just another piece of butter.
I was just about to say it looks so healthy.
Well, all we're doing here is actually starting to make the roux on top of our vegetables.
Oh.
Yeah, so we're just gonna mix this up.
Flour.
Yep, go ahead and keep mixing it.
Okay, oh yes.
Yeah, so this is gonna help us make our roux, just so our crawfish stew just has a little bit more body to it. All right, so here's the fun part, but it can get a little wild. We're gonna add some liquor to it.
Okay, is it gonna?
It's gonna kind of do its deal, ready?
Ah,
okay.
That's a good
Here we
deal.
Go.
Woo!
There we go.
Voila!
So you just wanna shake this up a little bit.
Okay, do I still have eyebrows?
Beautiful, we're gonna add just a touch more. Careful.
Again.
Right, but as you notice, I'm not gonna add everything. When you're cooking with liquor, add about 3/4 up front to kind of get that seasoning. Now you don't have any eyebrows.
This is more dangerous than the crawfish pinching me.
So into this, we're gonna add in some fresh crawfish stock. We're crawfishing today, so you gotta have crawfish stock. Okay, so into these, we're gonna add in some fresh chicken stock as well.
Delicious.
So this is very French, which is a huge part of our cooking down here. Now let's bring it to southern Louisiana.
Let's bring in the South.
Let's do that. So spicy fried chicken dumplings with fresh crawfish.
Yammy fried chicken.
Good.
We gotta.
Should we try it?
Yes, please.
We are gonna start with our dry ingredients. All right, so into this we have a little bit of flour.
Okay. And you have the salt and pepper already in there.
Salt and just a little bit of sugar, but not a lot of salt at all. Baking soda, a little sugar, black pepper, baking powder, and then we're gonna add in some buttermilk. Leftover spicy fried chicken.
So we are literally making dumplings that have fried chicken in them.
That's exactly right. So this is crawfish boil fried chicken. This is a staple at one of our restaurants called Picnic Provisions and Whiskey. So we have some of that, but it's got all those great Louisiana spices into a southern classic.
What's next, Chef?
All right, so spicy crawfish boil fried chicken's in. Now, because we went crawfish farming today, and then these beautiful crawfish tails too. So into this, I'm gonna add in a little bit of fresh thyme. Okay, just a touch of green onions. So once we get all of our ingredients in, we're gonna give it one more mix for our dumplings and then add them into the pot. Well, why don't you grab the peas?
Okay.
Okay.
Grabbing peas.
Okay, why don't you just gently try to add the peas in?
Okay, and you're gonna gently add in all the rest of the crawfish?
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
God, the smell in this is amazing.
So we're calling this Jenny's crawfish stew?
That's it, sure. Put the lid on top. We're gonna wait just a little while, probably 5 or 6 minutes at this point. And then we'll clean up and we'll have a glass of wine.
Look what we made for you.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
Are you ready to try our crawfish stew? Okay, well, We need.
It smells very good. Now, that is
That's one for you.
That is fancy.
That is
I was about to take it back, but then I got my own. I was only going to give you a little bite, and then it was me. Cheers.
Cheers, cheers.
Cheers.
Enjoy.
To crawfish season. That is delicious. And we will see you next time on Field to Feast. I am going to lick the ball.
Field to Feast with Jennifer Finley was brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef, it's what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, think rice.
Now we go on to the segment which we could call This Week in Crawfish, right?
I guess if you want to call it that. This week, prices seem to have leveled out somewhat. The weather is warming up a bit and demand is starting to pick up now that we're in March. Taking a look around the state, Louisiana Gulf Seafood in Alexandria has them live for $2.95 and boiled are just under $5 at $4.95 per pound.
Ben's Christmas crawfish in Ruston is a bit more expensive for live, going for $3.50 a pound. Boiled crawfish are $5 even.
Crawfish to Go in Leesville has them live for $2.75 per pound, one of the cheapest we've seen this week. Boiled crawfish are $4.99 per pound right now. As always, please check the Crawfish app or call for the most current prices.
And as our sponsor, the Louisiana Crawfish Research and Promotion Board says, ask before you eat. Last week was National FFA Week, and we have a special Twila booth celebrating the great work this youth organization does for students across the country.
The Clarksville FFA chapter in Arkansas brings together a diverse community of students who all share one common thread, a strong desire to learn more about agriculture. This inclusive chapter is making a difference in the lives of hundreds of students and enriching the entire community in the process.
To me, FFA is about food, it's about fiber, it's about shelter, it's about learning how to be a leader in your community. And so all of these kids, no matter where they're from and no matter where they're going, those things are always going to be a staple in their life. So it's something that can apply to everyone. And I feel that here at Clarksville, we try very hard to introduce everyone to FFA. I may not have everyone on a show team. I may not have everyone on a parliamentary procedures team, but everybody here is going to get exposed to all of those things, and it's going to make everyone a lot more well-rounded.
If you want to watch the entire story about Clarksville High School's FFA chapter, we posted a link on our website at twilatv.org. Well, that does it for this edition of Twila. Be sure to join us next week when Avery will show us more from Louisiana Farm Bureau's 2020 beef tour across Florida.
Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org or on our YouTube page. Also, be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
For all of us here at Twila, thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.